Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today, if you're live or if you're watching on the replay. Um, and if you are watching on the replay, awesome. Thank you. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the shows coming up in the future, all the previous shows. And it is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these wonderful speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their healings, their clearings, etc., so that we can all thrive and we can all move forward in our lives with ease and grace. And so today, my dear friend Joybaker is back with us. And we're going to be talking about from fear to freedom, consciously creating your life of abundance, health, and happiness. Some of what we're going to discuss is how, is fear the false evidence appearing real, or is it something else? We're going to discover how to use the power of fear to awaken and guide you forward. We're going to use fear as a step to feeling safe and creative in your life. We're going to be working one-on-one with Joy. So if you're here live with us, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. We're also going to be experiencing a group process that is designed to support us in feeling creative and inspired. And so, like I said, Joy has been with us many times. We love having her, always a high vibe call, always lots of clearings and processes and healings that happen on this call energetically, right? And so, for those of you who do not know her, I'll just share a little bit about her. She is a remarkable and compassionate soul dedicated to guiding her clients on a profound journey of emotional release and healing. With a unique expertise in untangling the threads of trapped emotions resulting from trauma, Joy's work transcends conventional healing practices. In a world where the scars of life's trials often remain hidden within, Joy shines a light on the transformative power of acknowledging and releasing these hidden pains. Joy's mission is rooted in the understanding that trauma can silently shape our lives, affecting our emotions, actions, experiences, and even our physical well-being. So, drawing from her own remarkable journey, Joy knows firsthand the importance of addressing these silent echoes of pain. A childhood marked by adversity, encompassing abuse, epilepsy, speech impediments, and relentless bullying, could have easily defined Joy's life. Instead, it ignited an unquenchable fire within her to rise above. So we are going to ask Joy to share a little bit more about her life, her experiences, her healing, etc. Because as you can tell, for some reason, my voice suddenly does not want to cooperate. So it's like it's struggling to even get out. So Joy, welcome back to the show. So glad you're here.
Hey, Shefali, it's so great to be back on your show and to interact with you and your amazing listeners again. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that, in fact, I could feel the throat chakra energy as you started talking, because we're talking about fear. And we hear the word all the time. We'll talk about it, but to actually go into the energy of it and move it. And as even before the call started, I could feel the anger, and I'll go into that more. But yeah, it's great to be back on your show, Shefali.
Thank you, Joy. And yes, my voice was totally fine earlier today, but just right before we started, it started to become more hoarse and more constrictive and like difficult to speak. So I know that, a lot of clearing is going to be taking place on this call with you and with our listeners. And really, we all have had. I personally, in the last 5 years, there was a lot of fear in my world, a lot of transformation, a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional upset, like a lot, and a lot of change, right? So yes, there was definitely fear, there was definitely anxiety, there was definitely stress, and there was definitely anger. I have to agree. I mean, I'm human. I was angry about certain things,
Mhm.
right? So I know that a lot of people are also or have had these types of experiences as well in the past couple of years. And also, like, I was saying earlier before we went live that, this week, we had a full moon with a partial lunar eclipse. So those energies are also up in our world. And so some of us have been affected by it. Like me and my mother, we both had migraines on Monday. Still didn't feel like, and Monday night we didn't sleep as well. Tuesday was okay. Today is what day? Oh no, Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
But today is, we're finally feeling good, right? So those energies can also affect us from time to time. And that can bring up a lot of fear as well, because the uncertainty and just the uncomfortableness and discomfort and anxiety of like what's happening, right? So much is happening right now.
Absolutely. And fear is, because we talk about it all the time, but you know you're stuck in fear if you're feeling stuck. Or like I was talking with a client earlier this week, and I've worked with her a few times over the past few years, and she said she was happier with her life. And I could tell energetically she was, but there was still a heaviness within her. And that's that fear of, my life is okay. It's not bad, I'm dealing with it. It's okay. But what else could it be? But that fear prevents us from asking that question, what else is possible? When you start asking yourself that question, what else is possible? So let's say your life is okay. Maybe a person's working a job, but it's always kind of been a dream to work remote, because then you can live anywhere in the world, whether it's, a job or a business, you can live anywhere in the world. I hear that from a lot from people, but it means stepping out of the job mentality or finding a job that allows complete remote work. And it's easy to say, it's not bad, but that's a part of us. We're trained, we're conditioned, and we have been for thousands of years to settle for it's okay, it's good enough. And I've said that to myself. I think we've all said, it's good enough. Because if we say, well, what else is possible? See, that moves us out of that fear energy, but then we go to anxiety. So, because the mind likes to think in pictures. When it sees a picture, it can understand, it feels safe. So imagine something such as, you might be familiar with a mind map. This will be a little bit different. So think of the mind and fear. So it's in the center of the page. If you can just imagine it or actually write it down, in the center of the page is mind and fear. That's when person's feeling stuck, or, life is okay, but there's still that heaviness, or maybe feeling kind of lethargic in that. And that's often when you really are honest with yourself, that's like can be a form of settling. It's like life is okay, but it can be so much more. And when you ask what is possible, so now look at your piece of paper, imagine that. And like I said, a mind map. Now you move into the heart and your desires. So if you were living your most amazing life ever, where would you be living? What kinds of people would you be interacting with? What would your connections and conversations be like? Imagine having genuine, authentic, uplifting, inspiring conversations with people. Imagine living in, wherever, if it's a warm climate or 4 seasons, every year, or somewhere really exotic, or being able to live wherever you want it. Imagine you want to buy a house, swim with the dolphins, write a book, whatever it is. So you get out of the fear, but then what happens is anxiety. So fear is generally from the past. When we're stuck in fear, we're looking at the past, and we're believing what we're maybe not consciously saying to ourselves, but we're saying it's always been like this, so it's always going to be like this. That's what fear says. When you start to dream and you start to allow your heart to say what's possible, show you what's possible, and you start to desire, then it's like your energy expands. You start to move out of fear, but then you go into anxiety. So anxiety is more about the future. So to get out of fear, start to dream about what's possible. Ask yourself what's possible. Think of maybe things you've dreamed of before, but, kind of put on the shelf because, the fear was too great. Think of that again. I do want to write that book. I've always wanted to swim with the dolphins, or travel, or have more time to spend with my grandkids. And I could do that if I was working remote. Well, what if that is possible? Then you go into anxiety. But remember, both of these they're conditioned. They're not, fear and anxiety is not divine truth. Remind yourself of that. It's not divine truth. This is where false evidence appearing real. That's a nice acronym for fear. But that's like saying energy isn't real, because to your nervous system, that fear is very real. And it, you know, you're in fear because of experiences you went through growing up, trauma, or hearing the same thing over and over again. You're not good enough, the way you look, the way you wear, your weight, all of that, or being hit or anything like that. So that's a higher impact, you know, that gets stuck in the nervous system. But that gets stuck into your nervous system. So that fear, that energy of fear is very real to your nervous system. And then that, you know, your whole body can go into fight or flight or feel frozen, feel stuck. But again, it's not that it's not real, but it's not a divine truth. Divine truth, when now, there you go. I just felt your heart open up. I just felt the heart space open up. Divine truth is that it is possible. Something greater is possible. And when you can remind yourself of that, when the mind can go, okay, so it becomes almost very like black and white to the mind, and the mind understands it. So fear and anxiety, it's real in that I experienced that. So it's not denying or minimizing your experiences. But I live in an angelic space. I live in a divine space, divine consciousness. And that's what's becoming real to me now. So what are some things you have always dreamed about? And maybe again, yeah, like maybe you put it on the shelf, but give yourself permission right now, either write it down, a few things, or just bring it to mind if you don't have a pen and paper. What are some things you've dreamed about that, again, maybe it's writing a book, maybe it's public speaking, which is one of the biggest fears for people. And it was definitely absolutely mine. I mean, I was terrified of people, never mind, you know, and then speaking in front of them. But my dream was bigger. And when you can dream, and now it doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. If you've got a new dream or you put on the shelf for years, doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, but you give yourself every day you visit that. And you go, well, what if it is possible? What if it is possible? This was a mantra I said to myself for 2 years before I got on my first show is, well, what if it is possible? What if it is possible? And sure enough, the ego mind would come in, which is all the fear and anxiety and guilt, and I'm not good enough. But I kept just saying, well, what if it is possible? What if it is possible? What if it is possible? And I kept bringing myself back to that, even recorded on my phone and would play it, you know, when it went to bed, got up in the middle of the night, what if it is possible? And when you say, what if it is possible? So first of all, like, know that if you're feeling stuck or life's okay, but, you know, you're kind of settling, that's fear. And even if you are not able to identify what the fear is about, know that is a fear. Fear is 3D consciousness. And I mean, that also encompasses guilt and self-doubt and shame and all of that. And that is some form of fear. So when your mind goes, okay, well, that's a form of fear. I understand that. The mind says, I understand that. Well, now that I understand it, see, once you understand it, you take the mystery out of it. And the mind goes, okay, what's next? So then start dreaming and asking yourself, saying to yourself, well, what else is possible? You know, maybe something greater is possible. Now, anxiety is going to come up. And again, that's okay, because you know you were taught that, you were conditioned that. The anxiety goes back to the fear, because the fear says, well, this happened to you in the past and people laughed at you when you know, talked or whatever it is. But that's the past. The divine truth is that you are light, you are beauty. At a soul level, we're all connected. There, see, as soon as we go there, your whole self relaxed. And I felt the mind going, this is like the mind, the group consciousness speaking right now, saying, oh, that was interesting. All of a sudden I feel relaxed and at ease. And okay, so now mind, and I want to talk to the group consciousness here. Okay, so mind, mind, when you believe fear and anxiety has the power to run your life, you give your life and yourself up to that. But when you connect to the heart, so mind, just let the heart and you connect, there you go. Just take a deep breath in, let that go. See, then the mind it relaxes because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have to control everything. I can let my heart guide the way occasionally. And then mind. See, now as you're letting your heart guide yourself, and there you go. You're aligning mind, heart with divine truth. You're witnessing the beauty of all of that. There you go. Okay, so while you're in this, take a look at the fear and anxiety. And okay, all of a sudden you crashed. That's okay. That's okay. That's just breathe. There you go. We're not going to leave you there. That mind appears real, but now can you see how you disconnected from the heart? The mind just went, oh, I did. Okay, so mind, again, just connect to the heart. Just see the heart. There you go. And as you connect to the heart, you release the tension and the heaviness around your throat chakra as well, because the throat chakra is between those two. There you go. Just take a deep breath in. Let that go. Okay, so now mind, we're going to ask you to objectively take a look at the darkness and the heaviness of fear and anxiety. Okay, so the mind says, well, that's not real. You see, as the mind looks at it objectively, it says that's not real. Okay, but mind, it is to your nervous system. So mind, remember, this is all consciousness. Consciousness will go wherever you direct it. So mind, take a look at the nervous system. You got it. There you go. Okay, so now mind, work with your heart. Connect with your heart. Be one with your heart. And now bless your nervous system. Just bless your nervous system. There you go. And you can feel that relaxation, ease, and blessings going out to all of you and your entire self relaxing. There's some happiness coming up. Take a deep breath in. Let that go. Okay, I want to do this one more time. Okay, so mind, we're going to ask you to again, objectively, take a look at fear and anxiety. The mind feels actually relieved because it says, oh my gosh, it's not as heavy anymore. It's still there, but it's not as heavy. And that's the reason for that mind is because you have connected and aligned with the heart, and you are more aware and becoming more aware and witnessing the truth of divine truth, divine essence, divine consciousness, that beautiful, radiant, divine space. There you go. Okay, just take a deep breath in. Let that go. Okay. That just came up. Yeah, so I thought I'd go with it there.
Yeah, lots of yawning happening. So my goodness. Um, that was great. And I was just gonna say also, like, the whole dreaming part of it. Can't talk still, but the whole dreaming part, a lot of us have put our dreams on the shelf or have put our dreams on the back burner. And sometimes that fear stops us from dreaming again, right? And so I love that process because, like you said, it brought us back to like being calm, being centered, back into our heart space, back into the energy of divine truth of who we are, right? And from that space, you can create. So I just want to ask
Mhm.
everybody who's here right now with us to type in the chat, what are some dreams that you have? And just to
Good one.
acknowledge that dream for yourself, that yes, I have this dream. So if you just type it in the chat. It's like it's not for any of us to know about or anything, but it's just for you to acknowledge in the universe to see, yes, she has some dreams. She this is what's going on. And then these processes will help us so that we can get out of that fear and come back into that divine truth and trust and on our path to move forward, right? Because I have to say, Joy, like, like when I was going through a lot of stuff, I put my dreams on hold and I say, okay, this is temporary. I can't deal with this right now. I got other stuff to do. So I put everything on the back burner. I put my life on hold and everything, right? And it's like when we do that, it's kind of like stopping our life. And I think it's part of like stopping our life force even from moving and regenerating, etc. Right? So it was crazy, but I thought I was doing the right thing. It's like,
I just want to, yeah, I don't think, especially with what you've been going through, Shefali, and so many people, that we do have our dreams and then life happens. And I don't, you had to temporarily, yes, put the specific dreams on hold, but you were actually, as I saw it, as I see this, you were actually working the ascension process. Because ascension isn't about just getting to higher dimensions and staying in that place. It's about cycling through, you know, the higher dimensions, that light field dimension, divine consciousness, and that. But then, yes, going back into the 3D and, you know, that 3D energy, because you're a light worker. We're light workers. So when you do that, you see the light back in the 3D. And sometimes, yes, we're going to be stuck there for a long time, especially when, yeah, working through relationships or anything like that. But that's part of the ascension process, because like we were saying before the show started, once you go through that, you have cleared out so much heavy stuff, and often it's past life stuff and ancestral stuff as well. And you're actually clear. It's not easy to go through. And then when you revisit that dream again, you're revisiting it from a place of higher consciousness, of more awareness and more insight. So that dream, when you revisit it again, it expands and becomes even more of who you are.
beautiful. I love that. And what if it is possible, right? I love that.
Exactly.
Not,
Yeah.
like, what if it is possible? What else is possible, etc. But I love the what if it is possible, because it's like, it's not a question per se, but it's like, yeah, you know what? It is possible, and why not? Um, but yes, it's an interesting time that we're all in, because we are all going through this whole ascension process, and sometimes, a lot of stuff comes up, and like you said, some of it is past life, some of it is ancestral, some of it is clearing for the collective, right, as well. And so sometimes when we're in the thick of it, we don't realize how much we're actually doing and how much we're actually clearing, right?
Yeah, and it's often when we're in the thick of it, and because we're here as light workers and on the path and such, when you're in the thick of it, you're working through some heavy, dense stuff. And that's what we're here. We're as light workers, we're just not, whether you're working as a healer or coach, or you're working a job as an accountant, or whatever you're doing, we're not just clearing and activating for ourselves, we're clearing for the humanity.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it can seem really, really, like really heavy. But remember, when you're clearing, when you're going down that rabbit hole deep into your stuff there, you are, okay, just felt some anger coming up. Okay, so, okay, I got to stop there, because, yeah, there's some, feels like actually one specific person just got really, really angry. And it's not them so much. This is what I call matrix anger. So it comes from 3D consciousness, but it's very manipulative. Yes, it is. It's very manipulative, and it's trying to, oh, this is an intense energy here. Okay, and it's trying to manipulate the energy of this group right now. Uh, let's see, I just need to uh, acknowledge this. Yes, matrix anger. Yes, we see you. Yes, we see how you are trying to manipulate this entire group. No, you are not going to do that. No, you have no power to manipulate this group consciousness, and you must leave now. You must leave now. You are not welcome here, and you must leave now. Absolutely and completely, in your entirety. You are not welcome here. There you go. Just take a deep breath in. There you go. There's some happiness. Okay, so what happened there? So we're as a group breaking through something. Something was coming up. I could feel it for actually a few minutes there, and anger, which is it's a manipulative 3D energy. And just know, ask yourself sometimes, if you're in this place but you're not sure, could there be other energies that are manipulating me? However, what happened there at the end was those energies cannot manipulate you unless you allow it. And then that might be like if you ignore it, or if you go into fear or weakness or powerlessness, and many people do. It's like, Oh, what can I do? Well, just like we did there, you stand up to it and say, you're not welcome here. You have no right to be here. You have no power, and you must leave now. And this is directing energy, and you have the power to direct energy. So you have the power to guide energy. So if you're feeling like energy is manipulating you, or black magic or anything like that, just say no. I mean, be in your power and say no. You are not welcome here, and you are not allowed to overpower me. Like, you must leave. And it must do that. But sometimes you need to do that depending on if you've got an ancestral lineage of, black magic or something like that. You might have to do that several times a day or a week to start out with. But in other words, you don't have to be in fear, even because I've worked with clients who, the ancestral line, there's a lot of black magic in that, and they're in fear of that black magic. And yes, it's very powerful, but you can stand up to that. You don't have to let that, just because it's a powerful energy, you don't have to let it overpower you. Just stand up and say no, like, you're not welcome here. And I guess you could call it a law of the universe or a law of energy. That energy, if you stand up to it and say, you're not welcome here, you must leave, it must leave.
So, Catherine's asking a question. How do you know if the anger is an entity or another energy versus coming from yourself?
Well, the energy of it would be the same. So coming from yourself. Ultimately, if it's coming from fear. And so if the anger is coming from somebody else and you're feeling powerless, that's coming from fear. If it's coming from you, then chances are it's, there's, because you're wanting to protect yourself, but it's still coming from fear. And either way, you can tell that anger, you're not wanted here, whether you're coming from me, whether you're coming from somebody else. And so you must leave anger. And now and then be honest with yourself, say, what's this all about? Oh, fear. And talk to the fear. All your emotions have consciousness. It's all consciousness. So just talk to it and acknowledge it. And then go back into dreaming of something greater. And if anxiety comes up, I talk to my emotions all the time, especially anxiety. I would talk to, not so much now because it's not so prevalent, but I would talk to anxiety all the time. And when you talk to it, see, then it doesn't have that power over you.
And I don't think it really matters where it's coming from, as long as you can be aware of the energy and you don't like it, you don't want it, then you can tell it to go. It, like, because is versus like your own emotion versus your ancestors or something. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. As long as you can be aware of it, you can tell it to go, make it go, whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So don't focus on where is it coming from. Is it mine? Is it somebody else's? No, it doesn't matter. You still have the power to declare that it be gone, right? That it leave your field, your space.
Right. And yeah, exactly. It's energy. Energy is energy. And energy doesn't discriminate where it comes from. But often we don't get to that place, because then what's behind that is fear. And fear, think of fear as a fabric that holds together the 3D consciousness, or I also call it the matrix. So, and then there's guilt, shame, anger, disappointment, all of that there as well. And anything that aligns with that frequency of fear. And divine love, not human love, because often that's needs-based and more transactional, but divine love is a fabric that holds together the fifth dimensional new earth consciousness, and anything that aligns with divine love, like happiness, joy, fun, laughter, inspiration, creativity, abundance, flow, ease. And so if it's anger, and that's more of a 3D consciousness emotion, then chances are there's fear going to be behind that. So again, it's fear keeping you stuck. So when you can just say, wherever this anger is coming from, take a deep breath. I choose to let go of this anger. And whatever, it's protecting me. Because if the anger is coming from you, it's protecting you from something. Believes it's protecting you from something. So there's fear behind that, because you believe you need to protect it, be protected from something. If it's somebody else that's angry at you, then it can be some kind of power struggle that's going on there. But ultimately, it's fear-based again. But you don't
and
have
with
to let, I was just going to say,
so
you don't have to let fear run your life. You're
yeah,
more powerful
absolutely.
than that. You're a divine being. You've got so much light within you, and your soul. You're a divine being. You choose.
Absolutely. And this looking at the fear or looking at the emotion, that is the processing taking place. We're not ignoring it. We're not, denying it, but we're asking the energy to leave our field, and then we can still ask questions of the fear or the emotion and to say, like, what's going on here? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so we're still processing it because Catherine was asking about that. We're still processing it. We're just not getting stuck in the energy of the anger or the fear or whatever happens to be. Awesome, thank you. This is huge, right? So many times we actually, and I don't like the phrase "give our power away," but we do become a little powerless to our emotions, to the fear, to the anger, to the circumstances, you know, to life. We and I've done that myself, so we do it. But the thing is, we have to sometimes talk to ourselves and remind ourselves that we are much more powerful than this situation or this emotion or this whatever is happening, and
Exactly.
come back into that power and take control. It is a little bit about taking control over ourselves instead of letting the emotions and the fear take control over us, right?
Well, and it's choosing something greater. Like I just saw a question pop up about fear has run my entire life and I don't know how to get out of it. And to you want to listen to the show again, because we go into it a little bit. Like, fear is from the mind. Fear is about the past. So you go into start dreaming. It's up to you to create the new earth. It's up to you to create in that space of higher consciousness. And you do that through dreaming. If I wasn't in fear, how would I be living my life? Well, I'd be going out and interacting with people more. Maybe I would travel. I've got the money, but I haven't traveled. I could go somewhere for a week, or, whatever it is. Maybe you'd like to be in a relationship again. So you start dreaming of that. That's how you get out of fear. But most people don't, one, because it takes daily conscious awareness, and how would I really like to live my life? But also then anxiety comes up, and fear is more comfortable. We're used to fear. We grew up in fear. I used to be afraid of everything except for nature and animals. I was just terrified. I was a terrified person. I was scared of everything. And this was well into my adulthood. And how did I get out of it? I started dreaming. Well, there's got to be more to it than just living my life in fear. What else is possible? And this was even before I got on the path. I just thought something else has got to be possible. And so that's how you get out of fear. And then, yes, anxiety is going to come up. Talk to that anxiety, acknowledge the anxiety. Your emotions it's energy in motion. You are energy. That's a part of you wanting to be acknowledged. So when you acknowledge that, okay, I let myself, start dreaming, and I haven't thought of traveling in years, but you know what, maybe I could take a week and go somewhere. It means I'm going to be around people, and there's always unexpected in traveling. Anxiety is going to come up. Just say, oh, there you are, anxiety. Okay, I see you're coming up to, so because then if I listen to you, anxiety, I'd go back to fear and I'd stay stuck. Well, do I want to stay stuck and in fear the rest of my life? I mean, I could, because I've been living there my whole life, but do I really want to? No, really, I want to go out and travel and enjoy life and see more of the world and interact with people and have uplifting, inspiring, fun conversations. So anxiety, you know what, really, you're just an energy. You appear really real to me, but I'm going to move forward anyways, and I'm going to continue to dream. That's how you get out of fear. You start to go, what else is possible? And you give yourself permission to dream. It doesn't have to be big. I mean, it can be, I had one client contact me, and we just emailed back and forth a few times, but she said she hadn't left her home for 3 years. Like, she hadn't walked outside. And so I said, well, what if you just went to the elevator? Or what if you just stepped outside your house? And so she challenged herself, and she only emailed me back once, but she made it to the elevator, and she hadn't done that in 3 years. And that's how you step out of fear and anxiety. Now, if she has continued, and I don't know if she has, she might have gone down the elevator. She might have gone outside. That's some pretty deep trauma, and I didn't work with her one-on-one. But I mean, that's how you step out of the fear and anxiety.
Wow. And, you know, and that's the thing. It does happen one tiny step at a time, right? It's not this big, huge accomplishment kind of thing. It really is one small, tiny step at a time. And then acknowledging yourself for taking that tiny step. And, you
Mm,
know,
that's a big one. I just want to interrupt you there, Shefali, just for a moment. Acknowledging yourself. Like when she emailed me back, she said it wasn't a big deal, but I made it to the elevator. I'm like, yeah, that was a big deal. That was a really big deal, and acknowledge that. And that's a key point there. To no matter how little it is, because if we compare ourselves to somebody else, and well, I did this, but somebody else has done that. It yeah, that know that when you compare yourself, that's a 3D concept that is designed to keep you stuck. So let go of comparison. And you got it right there, Shefali. I'm so glad you brought that up. Acknowledge yourself, no matter how little it is. Acknowledge yourself. Because when I started out on this path, and I would, make sometimes big actions, but the little actions, and all the little actions add up. But to me, it wasn't enough. It's like, but I'm just taking little actions. Like look at all these, people are doing this and this and this. But that's because they dreamed about it, thought about it, imaged it for years. So they were able to accomplish that. So yeah, that's a big one.
yeah.
Acknowledge yourself.
Yeah, and I think we don't do it enough. I know I don't do it enough, to be honest, right? And but I know it's important, but you know, definitely acknowledge, you know, those tiny steps, because those tiny steps, one by one, you know, you've gone far. So I always look at myself and it's like, okay, well, I'm better off than I was 2 weeks ago, or I'm better off than I was yesterday, or I did this and instead of whatever, right? So sometimes
Yeah,
that's all you
awesome.
need. It's not about comparing with other people, but just comparing with yourself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even like the word comparison, but just looking at yourself and being aware and observing, right? Somebody had asked a while ago and I missed it, but is panic the same as anxiety, meaning fear of the future?
Panic, like panic and panic attacks. Panic is about expecting something bad to happen, expecting the worst, in fear of not being able to protect yourself. So that's some really, really deep trauma. And in that case, a person might want to, if they're not working with somebody they want to work with somebody one-on-one, because that's really deep trauma. And yes, it's fear-based. So the simple answer is yes, it's fear-based, but that's really deep trauma, especially when you get to panic attacks. Because when you get to panic attacks, and I have had them in the past, a full-blown panic attack, I think I only had one or two in my life. But that's where that trauma is really deeply stuck in your nervous system, and it could very well be ancestral as well when it goes that deep. So, but yeah, the basis still is fear. Absolutely.
Hmm. Wow, it's so, I don't, I'm trying to use a different word, but it's scary how this fear, can't even see, I can't even talk because like it's so embedded in our culture, our in the collective, in how we think, how we feel, like in our everyday life. It's like it's so insidious, this fear, this energy of fear. And it's there in small ways and big ways, right? But you know, it's like I never looked at it that way, that fear, you know, is stop, because I'm not afraid of anything, you know. It's like, except bugs. I don't like bugs. You know, that's about it. But you know, but I didn't think of fear as stopping me from living my life, moving forward, blah blah blah. I always thought that was just like judgment, comparison, not feeling good enough. But again, you mentioned that at the beginning, even those things are based in fear, right?
Yeah. Oh, comparison. Yeah. That if you're not sure about something, like if you look at it very, again, kind of black and white, then the mind can understand it. So 3D consciousness is fear-based. The fifth dimensional consciousness and above, so New Earth, that's divine love based, and anything that aligns with that. When you're thinking about, fear of somebody judging you or judging others or comparison, ask yourself, does that free me into, states of higher consciousness, align me with higher consciousness, or does it get me stuck in, 3D consciousness, fear, anxiety, and kind of stuck in my life? Oh, well, comparing myself to others or feeling like others, if I speak up, they're judging me, that keeps me stuck in 3D consciousness. Okay, well, if it keeps me stuck in 3D consciousness, where did that come by? Where did that come from? Okay, so well, if I go back hundreds or even thousands of years, somebody wanted to keep me, humanity, some people in humanity under control. And, you start going into it more and more, and you realize that's a construct, that's a structure of 3D consciousness designed to control you, keep you stuck, robotic. So you will take orders. And so when just something like you're comparing yourself to somebody else or what they've acknowledged and such, or what they've accomplished, so you don't acknowledge yourself. It's so common, like you said, Shefali, it's so prevalent in our universe and insidious, and we just do it automatically. But when you're consciously aware of that, and that's why we're having this conversation, when you're consciously aware of that, then you can, okay, a little bit of anger coming up here. I just want to address that. So I know when the anger comes up, we're going deep. Just ask yourself, say to your mind, is this keeping me stuck or is it freeing me to align with divine consciousness? The mind right away says, because the mind's going to answer you if you ask it a question. And the mind says, well, it's keeping you stuck. So it's of 3D consciousness. So let go of comparing yourself. We all do. It's a human nature. We've been doing it for thousands of years. But when you can be consciously aware of it, then you can let go of it.
And I think that's the key part, is becoming more and more consciously aware of our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions when that fear comes up, and asking questions.
Yeah, that's the key. Be consciously aware of it, which is why we're talking about fear now. The more you can really go into that energy and be consciously aware of it, the less power it has over you. The less power it has over you, the more you're free to live life how you choose
Yeah,
to.
absolutely. And work on those dreams, right, that we have. Um, all right, so we have some people with their hands raised. I did mention at the beginning, if you'd like to work one-on-one with Joy, you can raise your hand, or you can type your question in the chat. But I think with Joy, it's more of like a one-on-one is helpful, right? So, okay, so do you want to take some questions and see
Absolutely, yeah.
where see
Yep.
where we're at? All right, so Linda 173730.
Hi. That was funny.
Hi,
I
Linda.
don't know how that came up. Hi, Joy. Okay, I have a problem because how do you manage your energy when your daughter is having a lot of difficulties and you are really quite attached to her and you know she's living in fear and anxiety? How would I best help her?
Okay. Are you guys living together, or you just know she's
No, no,
going
no,
through a
no,
lot?
no.
Okay.
No, but I know what her circumstances are, and they were much like mine. And it's not an easy thing for her.
Okay, well, one, if her circumstances are much like yours were, chances are you're being triggered. So that's one area you might want to look at. But the best way to support somebody who's going through, something, is often what we do is we worry. And we were, what if it doesn't work out with them? What if things go even worse, or just whatever, the situation is. But worry is a very heavy, dense energy. So there you are. Worry is a very heavy, dense energy, and that actually keeps everything stuck. It keeps them stuck. You will never free somebody or free a situation by worry or feeling sorry for somebody. So see them in their highest and greatest good. See them living in alignment with their highest and greatest good. See them living in, feeling inspired, light, free. See them, and you can talk to them depending on the relationship. You could talk to your daughter and say, how would you like to feel? Would you like to feel, good about yourself, more energized, inspired, more like you have more health, like full of vitality and such? Just ask her about that if she's open to it, if you have that kind of conversation. So you're also guiding her thinking so that she can start to go, you know what, I really would like to get myself out of the situation. I would like to feel healthier. I would like to. And even if now, chances are, depending on her situation, she's going to go right back into feeling, whether it's sorry for herself or sad or angry about the situation or stuck, like she can't do anything about it. But if you have an idea of how she would like to feel, you can image that for her. You can imagine that for her. And imagine, see, then it uplifts when you do that for her or a situation or an animal or anything like that. One, first of all, for you to get to that place, it brings up your energy and it brings up her energy. And you too, especially being a daughter, you're emotionally connected. She's going to feel that. But I actually learned it from an animal communicator. And she said to free the animals, like to free animals from abuse. If you feel sorry for them or if you hate on the abuser, then, and that's one thing I can't deal with. I can't see an animal and, but you can't, if you feel sorry for somebody or angry at the, who's ever causing that, it just keeps the situation stuck.
Right.
You
I
want
know.
to see them and imagine them as feeling uplifted, free, feeling good about themselves, feeling good about their situation, optimistic. And in that way, energetically, you support them.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
that. Thanks for that.
Thank you, both of you.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Linda. All right, we're going to go to Tanya.
Hi,
Hello,
Tanya.
everyone. Hello, Joy. Nice to see you again. Today I just felt so much anxiety in my solar plexus, so I don't even know if it was mine or not mine, but it doesn't matter. I felt kind of release and a bit of tears after your healing, but I still have some anxiety in my chest, so I don't know what it is. If you can you tell me, please.
Okay. There's some anger coming up. Anger, in this
Anger.
case, you're trying to
Mm.
protect yourself from something. And so are you working towards something right now, like a dream or a desire, or is there something you would like to desire?
Yeah, I'm working on this. Well, I'm dreaming of my YouTube channel, and I am kind of in a new relationship, but I didn't think I was angry, to be honest. I was wondering if it was my anger coming when you talked about anger, because then I released a few tears.
Yeah, the
I don't
anger
feel
is,
angry.
see,
Angry.
so you're in a new relationship that's opening your heart up. So the heart and the electromagnetic field of the heart is 5,000 times greater than that of the mind. So as you open up your heart, you're feeling everything and you're feeling all kinds of emotions and more connected to the world and humanity and that. And then you've got a YouTube channel. You said you want to get, expand, get up and running and expand. And so all of this, you're opening your heart, you're opening up to life in a bigger way. You're opening up to engagement with humanity and life. And yeah, there you go. There's your anxiety. And so now it's more anxiety because there's a part of you that's going, especially with being in the new relationship, what if this is all possible? So you might even notice when you consciously pay attention, you kind of go between anger and anxiety. The anger believes it's protecting you. It's protecting you from engaging with the world, because when we engage with the world, we're out there doing a YouTube channel or speaking or whatever it is, we're opening ourselves up for judgment. And that's a big thing, because generally, as light workers and growing up in 3D, generally it's a 3D family, more of that dense energy. And we're often judged and not understood. So when you're putting yourself out there and you're engaging with more of humanity in that, you're opening yourself up to all the things you've tried to protect yourself from as a child, and you develop those coping strategies as a child. So the anxiety comes up as the anxiety is there when you're saying, well, what if it is possible? And then the more you say, what if it is possible? And you step into this more fully and you engage with your heart more fully in the relationship with humanity, with others, with conversations, with connections, then every now and then the anger will come up there. I just felt your sacral release something there. Anger will come up because, and just know if it does, the anger is saying, whoa, slow down. You got to protect yourself. So realize that, hey, the time for protection, maybe you needed to do that for a while, but now you're ready to engage with humanity, the world, society in a much bigger way.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
are you
Thank
still
you.
feeling the anxiety? Because we can actually, if you feel necessary, we can go in there and.
Well, I had it all day today, so I don't know if it is the same as the same story, like the same story that you were talking about, or I just, because I was going walking around and about shopping and stuff, or maybe I just absorbed something. I have no idea. I feel better now, but
Okay.
I still have a little, yeah.
I want to go into this a little bit more because it's a big thing for a lot of people. So the anxiety, first of all, how long has it been since you've been in a relationship?
Well, it is less than a year.
Okay. Okay. And the YouTube channel. So is this something you haven't launched yet, or you're looking to
No,
expand and really grow?
I'm going to launch it in the next few weeks.
Okay.
But I've
Congratulations.
been thinking
Okay.
about that for ages. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so imagine that. Go with the YouTube channel and you're about to launch it. There you go. There's the anxiety. Anybody else who has any kind of a dream, is considering it, is thinking of it, or is looking to expand it. There you go. There's the throat chakra right there. Okay, so let's witness that anxiety and the throat chakra. Okay, so anxiety, all the ways you are attempting to shut down the throat chakra of your host. So that is whoever is feeling the anxiety. That's a human. There you go. Anxiety, all the ways you are attempting to shut down the throat chakra of your host so that they cannot speak, they cannot be seen, heard, witnessed, acknowledged by others. We acknowledge that. We see you, anxiety, and anxiety, it's time for you to, okay, there you go. So as anxiety releases, then you go into weakness. So there's any ways in which you need the anxiety to, because there's a part of you that believes it keeps you strong and almost like motivated. Like as long as anxiety is there, you're kind of all over, you're scattered, you're not focused, but it can feel like you've got a lot of energy. But that's almost more like a hypervigilance. So any ways in which you believe you need the anxiety to motivate you, to inspire you, to kind of give you a slap on the back almost to keep going forward. There you go. And this is when you want to dream and desire and imagine. And so a traditional way of doing personal growth is to kind of, give ourselves, bring up the belt and flog ourselves. Well, I got to keep moving forward. I got to keep moving forward and feel bad about things and, go deep, deep, deep into the muck and call it the rabbit hole and keep clearing that out. And then we, eventually little by little, we go forward. It's like, as we've gone into the age of Aquarius, I find the way to really move forward now is to focus on what what you're desiring. So you're launching your YouTube channel. Now imagine it in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and how many potential subscribers and people asking you questions and interactions and making money from it. So you go forward with it. Otherwise, like that, the anxiety comes up because you're focused on, well, people are going to judge me and they're going to see me and my face is going to be out there and I'm going to be speaking and interacting with others. Let go of that and go forward 2, 5, 2, 3, 5, even 10 years and imagine how amazing it could be and let that move you forward. So rather than anxiety and feeling, because that prevents your focus. So
Yeah.
go forward 5, 10 years and just imagine how amazing it could be, and let that connect to your heart space and move you forward.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hope it
Great. Thank
helps
you for that.
everyone else. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you, Joy.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lara.
Tanya. Thank you. That was great.
Oh,
All right, we're going to go to Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi. Oh my gosh. As usual, you're speaking to me through these other women too. There's so
Awesome.
much I could talk to you about right now. But
Okay.
I'm going to let you just see what you pick up, if you don't mind, unless you want me to give you a topic.
Give me something that you're working towards.
Okay. So I have a business, a new business, and I have this want, this need to fulfill my soul's mission. And I'm here to help people. And similar to your experience, suffered abuse since I was a kid, and just rape and all different bullying, all of this stuff throughout my life, most of my life. And it's just been since I quit my job and moved to Panama that I have kind of freed myself from that victimhood mentality and poor me. And I have shifted my perspective. And I know now I do soul contract readings, and I know that I'm here, and everything that happened was so that I could get to this point. And I do know that I am strong. I know it consciously, I know that. But then the self-sabotage comes up. And I do know, I've always known since I was little that I'm here to clean up the family lineage. So I know there's a lot of crap in the ancestors. So, but I take it all very personally. When this stuff happens, I blame myself, and I think I'm the bad person. And I appreciate you saying today that it's outside of us, even the collective.
Yeah, I could see that even before you said that. I take it, like I believe I'm the bad person. You're really harsh on yourself.
Oh yeah.
And that harshness is creating a heaviness, not just within you, but within your field. There's a desire to support. There you go. There, just let go of something. So there's a desire to support people and to awaken them to the reason they're here and their purpose. And yet you're still really hard on yourself. So I just want to see this. So what do you get from being, so I'm going to ask your consciousness. So I'll let your consciousness answer. So what do you get from being hard on yourself? So you want to be, so there's a little bit of martyr archetype here. And in other words, it's like, I will support everybody else in being the best they can, awakening to their true divine self, and that's my purpose, but I'm the bad one. I'm going to sacrifice myself. And so this is the martyr archetype. Carolyn Mace, MYSS, she talks about, talks about the archetypes in the martyr archetype. And so any part of you that is aligning, believing in, and living the martyr archetype, because you believe, that
so bad that I am disconnected from God. It's in my contract.
You believe that. Well, actually, you believe that purifies your soul. If you are the martyr and you take care of everybody else and awaken them to their, soul's purpose and light and the beauty within them, you're believing that you are, so this is ancestral, you're believing that you are purifying your soul by, being the martyr and believing you're bad. And all the ways you believe that by being harsh on yourself, telling yourself you're the bad one, yet you're living your purpose of supporting others awakening, that you are purifying your soul. Can you see how this is a 3D construct? It's like you're saying, like the 3D teaching is, it's actually, this comes from a very religious, I'm sure in past lives, we've all had very, intense religious training and conditioning. And this is more of a past life ancestral religious construct, in that if you're bad and you flog yourself, and that you will purify yourself. I mean, it doesn't make any sense when you look at it, but that's actually a religious teaching. So, okay, so any ways in which you have been taught in this life or past life or your ancestors, that as long as you're harsh on yourself, you believe you're bad, and you're like flogging yourself with a belt, literally, that you are actually driving the evil spirits out, the demons, and purifying yourself. Yeah, let's let go of this on all levels, throughout all time and space, timelines, past lives, lifetimes, ancestors. Just release it on all levels: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, cellular. There you go. So shokabasawalaka, so shokabasababaka, wala so shokabasawalaka. There's some anger coming up. I'm just going to continue with the light language, and this will release the anger. So shokabasawalaka, so shokabasawalaka. Any past life teachings that you are connected to in this moment or aligned with, Archangel Michael, cut any cords to past life or ancestral teachings of the martyr archetype. There you go. Yeah, I don't know if you felt that, but you just released something from your solar plexus there. Yeah, that burping is releasing. That's a really, really deep release. There you go.
It's belted from head too.
Yeah, a little bit of shame coming up. That's coming up from the sacral chakra. And as I'm like working with you, this is being, supporting everybody. So supporting the release for everybody. There you go. So we're just going to witness this shame. Okay, so the shame and the anger are connected. So yes, anger, we see you. There you go. Okay, so now there's some anxiety coming up. So we're going to witness that anxiety. And we're going to ask Source to support you and anybody else who wishes it to align with peace. Peace, calm, trust, ease, and feeling good about yourself. Feeling good about yourself and choosing in this moment to feel good about yourself. Any ways in which you're still holding under the belief that I need to beat myself up or believe I'm bad to be a martyr, and in that way I support humanity and or cleanse myself and my soul, just let that go. Let it go on all levels: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, cellular, throughout all time and space. There you go. Take a deep breath in. Let that go. Okay. Yeah, there's some fun and laughter. Little child within you feels much more relaxed and at ease. Hey, thank you for that.
Thank you so much. So right on. And you had said belt and flogging in your answer to one of the other girls, and I just jumped when you said that. So it was interesting that came up. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And Catherine, I've worked with Joy myself personally, one-on-one. I would highly recommend you work with her if you can, okay? It'll just help you go deeper. All right, I want to go to Layla. Are you here? Is that the 1951 number? Whoever's on the phone, is that Layla?
Is that the one ending in 683?
The one ending in 683? Is that
They
you,
might be
Layla?
on mute. They're on mute right now. So if you are
Yeah.
here or there, that's what it was. Yeah.
Layla,
Okay.
is that you?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear you.
and
Is
now.
that Layla?
That's me.
Hi,
I
Layla.
have no idea.
Hi, Shefali. Hi, Joy. I'm so happy you're on the show
Oh,
again,
it's cutting
Joy.
out.
Oh, darn.
We can't hear you.
Well, I can hear, I think, good enough. So go ahead
Yeah,
and
okay.
ask what you want to ask, and we'll go from there. If I can't hear, then yeah.
I would like to move, and I've been working towards moving. And interestingly, a plant has just, quote unquote, invaded my backyard, and very similar to how I grew up, where it's invading, there's no good choice of how to deal with it, and I feel like I don't have the resources to meet the challenge. And I'm wondering if you can look at that.
Which one? The plant invading your space or moving?
Yeah, well, like the plant invading, like I'm already feel like I'm stretched with my resources to get the house ready to sell. And now this big major thing that feels like unmeetable has come up.
I see. Okay.
Very,
so in order
familiar.
So in order to move, you have to sell the house and you have to get the house ready to go. And now
Yeah.
you've got an invasive plant and okay, so have you looked into quotes to figure out how much the, removal of the invasive plant would be?
Really not about the money. It's about how, like, yeah, if I could use toxic chemicals, but then myself and my pets would be sick, and then the people who came after would also, or I can get a backhoe and dig my whole yard up and start over, even though it probably won't last because it's coming from the other neighbors.
Okay, so
But it'll last to get me out.
When you said at the beginning there, Layla, I want to move, right away fear came up, like a really big fear. And there's a part of you that would, what you're saying is it's easier to just stay here than move. You do want to move. I can feel that in your heart chakra. There's a part of you, like when you think of moving in a new space and upgrading your space, your consciousness and the people around you there, all of that, your heart's open to that in your heart chakra. But then, okay, your mind is, your mind's just very stuck. Okay, so first of all, let's go to the mind, and this is so your history, okay, let's just start with stuck because you're just stuck right now. Okay, so all the ways you're completely stuck where you're at, you're wanting to move, but it feels like, okay, so there you go. What you're saying is, I'm never going to get out of this consciousness anyways. Like you said, the plant invading your space, the invasive species, it feels like when you were a child and people always invading your space with, like you're a light being, yet you're in this density and heaviness and growing up with that and always feel like you're invaded. So that's something you want to clear, work on. Like you can even do it in your own time, but because it goes deep, is feeling like your space. And your space is one of this, in other words, the space you desire, of light, of higher consciousness, of fun, of laughter, of feeling inspired and creative, abundant in the flow and ease. That's the space. And okay, there you go. You just went, it's easier to just see, it's easy to just, you grew up in that space where that environment where you always felt kind of like your space, your light space was invaded. And so at one point, I'm getting 7 years old here, you just kind of gave up. And when it's easier to just kind of go along with everybody else, coexist with who they are, than be the light. So you gave up on being the light, on that radiant light, on living with not just an open heart, but an open, engaged heart, feeling happy and joyful. So the thought of moving out of where you are is anxiety. Okay, a lot of anxiety. Yeah, there you go. So then you go into okay, so let's go with that invasive species. So you do have an option. I don't know what a realtor would say about this, but I know people have sold their places as is, and I don't know. In other words, I have no idea how much that would cost you financially. You'd have to lower the price because that would mean somebody else has got to deal with it. But maybe that, look into that. If you haven't yet, look into selling the place as is. I'm not saying you should, or that's the best avenue to go, but you're opening yourself up. You're moving forward. Okay. To see right away, you go, well, I don't want to sell it as is. It's not, it's not ready. It doesn't look good enough, and I got a lower price. But consider it anyways, because it opens up your energy and you start to move out of fear, because you can stay stuck in that fear. See, that's the reason we do that. And is because you grew up in a dynamic, and we all grow up in a dynamic as light beings. We're here to see light. So we, especially maybe not so much now, the kids that are younger, but if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, anything like that, even the 30s, we came here as light workers. We were seated into a really dense, heavy family unit because we're here to seed light and, let that awaken in the density. And so there you go. Okay, just felt you give up there. Okay, so any ways in which you have given up and you believe that is your destiny, that you're going to live in that heaviness and density your entire life, and that you're tired of the fight of trying to get out of that. Oh yeah, that's really heavy. You do not have to live the rest of your life there. You do. Okay, so any part of you that has given up and you believe you have to live the rest of your life in that density or fighting to get out of it, and that you're always going to be invaded with that density, just witness that, let that go. Like, that's really heavy. But any part of you, I can feel myself really getting a little bit passionate here, because you do not have to give up your power to this heaviness. When you were a child, yeah, you had to survive, you had to cope, you had to go along with it, but you're an adult now. So, and that's why I'm saying, even consider selling the property as is, unless a realtor says there's no way it will sell, or it's just going to cost you too much money. But just consider it, because you're getting yourself out of that stuck place, and you're opening up to possibilities. And I'm not saying sell it as is, but then you can move on to the next thing. So any part of you that believes you have two choices of either just giving into the density and letting all this stuff just continue to invade your light space, or you have to spend the rest of your life fighting it, and you believe those are the only two options, just let that go on all levels: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, cellular, throughout all time and space. Source, open us all up to divine possibilities. Open us up to greater possibilities. Open us up to alignment with the light, to divine consciousness, to Christ consciousness. There you go. Your whole self relaxed. Wow. There's some grief coming up, and the grief is letting go of what's familiar. See, you grew up in that energy, and you grew up in being invaded with the darkness and then giving up to that. I started to go there earlier. That's familiar. What's familiar is comfortable. That's comforting. That's your comfort zone. In moments of stress, which you're going through right now, you're thinking of selling your house, making a big move, and then you have to get the house ready. So it takes a lot of action, takes a lot of courage. In moments of stress, we default to our comfort zone because it's familiar, it's comforting. Your comfort zone is to giving up to the heaviness and density and believing it won't get any better. So just remember that as you go forward. And when you default to that, and you will, we all default to that in moments of stress, and moving is a big stressor, even thinking of it. Remind yourself that you are defaulting to that, but that's not your only choice. So I can sell the house as is. I can make more money, but it gives me the opportunity to move forward. No, I don't want to do that. So, okay. So my other options are, I'm not going to, I think you've already canceled out using really harmful, toxic chemicals. Okay. So I can go in and I can dig up the whole backyard. Well, let's see how much that's going to be. And then, do you want to do that? Because the neighbors are, it's going to be invaded again, but it'll get, all of this, start to look at all of this. I can feel how your mind is open up and you're starting to relax because you're looking at the different possibilities instead of being stuck on, because fear is one of the top, or moving, one of the top 3 stressors is moving in our lives. And so just know that you're going to default to what's familiar, to your comfort zone. When you know that, then it doesn't have that same power over you. Then you can go, okay, I know this. So I've defaulted to the fear and giving up. And okay, how can I move forward from this? Well, there's this possibility. Let's talk to a realtor. Let's talk to an invasive plant expert, whoever that would be, a landscaper, and just see what's possible. There you go. Okay, so mind, just let go of the stuckness and the giving up. It's time. That was a childhood coping strategy. It's time to let go of that giving up and to open up to what's possible. What's possible? What if something greater is possible? There you go. What else is possible? What else is possible that I've never even thought of or considered? There you go. There, your whole self relax. There's some relaxation and ease, and there's some happiness. And I can feel that the child within you feels lighter and happier.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you
for
so
that.
much. That's so spot on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Layla. I'm glad that all worked out.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna get good job. You even unmuted or unmuted. Good job.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take one more question from Carrie, which I think is will be helpful. And Carrie says, "I'm really drawn to being able to read my Akashic records. When I attempt, I get dead air. I've tried a few methods, and over a half a dozen times, I need to clear access. I believe everyone can access except me. Any insights appreciated." So just really quickly, a lot of people have that fear that everyone else can do this except me, and then that everybody else is better at it than me. So again, that's that whole comparison energy, right? And that there's something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me that I can't do it when everybody else can.
This in the chat, or is it?
No, that was that was via
okay.
email that she sent me. Remember?
Okay. And so I missed one word there right at the beginning when she said, "I'm trying to read the Akashic records." Is she trying to just read them for herself or others, like anybody?
She didn't say, but it could
Okay,
be either.
trying
I
to
guess,
read.
yeah.
Okay, so the Akashic records.
Yeah.
Her name was Carrie.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, the comparison thing is. Okay, so the core belief is not enough. So everybody else is better than me. So all the ways you believe that everybody else is better than you, everybody else has this figured out, everybody else can read energy or Akashic records or whatever you're wanting to look to do better than you, just let that go. Again, that's that comparison, but it's driven by the not enough belief. That's one of your core beliefs there. And so imagine carrying anybody else who wants to connect more deeply to spiritual guidance. And imagine that you just open up. So just see your crown opening up. Just let your crown, just imagine, even if you can't feel it, that's okay. Just imagine it opens up. And okay, there's some fear coming in. And the fear is that I will be too inundated with spiritual guidance. I could be so inundated with guidance, I won't know where to go or what action to take or how to move forward. And so almost it's like all the ways you're blocking yourself off from hearing the guidance and the messages because of fear that you will be then inundated and flooded with it. There you go. Yeah, just let it go. There you go. I felt your heart open up. So what's going on here is a highly sensitive person when we're out in humanity around others, we might not notice it in the moment, but we can come back and realize that we were inundated with energy and messages and intuitive thoughts and all of that, especially when you're around a group of people. And so what you're believing is that your spiritual guidance will be the same. That's what's coming up in the moment. Spiritual guidance is, okay, that's one. So spiritual guidance, generally, it doesn't flood you like that often. It's just depending on what you're doing. If it's Akashic records, you want more than a word. But if you're just looking for guidance in your life, sometimes it's a word, and then you have to go from there. But one big thing that's keeping you stuck, and it just came up now, is what if I'm wrong? And so it's almost like you're looking for like what is it called? Empirical evidence that, this is real. And many people get hung up on that because when you're working with the guides, and it's like if it's very black and white, or if it's science, you can prove it. It can be proven to be real. But when you're working with the guides and energy, you have to trust yourself. So anytime you're wanting to connect with your guides, or yes, read the Akashic records or anything like that, trust is number one. Like, I've had some really weird stuff come in. If I started to question it, or if I went in my mind, or I went, that's too weird. And every time I go, I'm working with a client, and I'll say some weird stuff comes in, and I'll say to them, this might sound a little weird, but here goes. And they're like, oh, that just makes so much sense. Or this happened when I was 4 or 7 or 8. Oh, that, and I explained something to them. To me, it seems weird, but just trust yourself. Trust that what's coming in. And it's, you're not working with the 5 senses. So let go of that. So any part of you that is trying to hear your guides or work with Akashic records from the 5 senses, let go of that. That's why it's called a 6th sense, because you're beyond that. You're beyond what can be proven by science or the logical mind and such. I mean, there's a certain element of trust in this whole, the whole spiritual field. And there you go. Little bit of fear came in there. This is like the group consciousness. And the fear is that, how do I know who to trust? And well, one, when you're working with somebody, or you hear something for yourself or somebody else, and well, more for yourself, ask yourself, does this make me feel lighter and uplifted? Does this inspire me, or does it make me feel heavy? And so just ask yourself, does working with this person, let's say you're looking to work with somebody, when I work with them, when I listen to them, do I feel inspired, uplifted? Did I walk away from this conversation, if it's a friend or so, am I walking away from this conversation with, new ideas, new ways of seeing things, feeling uplifted? So just notice how you're feeling. And if you're feeling inspired, uplifted, opening up to new creativity and new ideas. I know we kind of got in a different track there, but it's all about trusting yourself, trusting the energy, trusting, what you're hearing and such.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And I know a lot of people have that fear that, I'm going to say something wrong, I'm going to interpret the information wrong, or I'm not getting anything. So there's, so that was huge. So thank you so much. All right. So Carrie, hopefully that resonates with you. Let me know. So Joy, I know we're still going to do a group process still, right? Or did we already do the group? We're going to do
We
one,
kind
right?
of did it at the beginning. We can do a little bit more one and just see what comes up. I don't like, at the beginning there, I don't have anything planned, but yeah, something will come up, especially as, we're all in this group consciousness now.
Exactly. All right, so I just want to quickly go over the special offer packages, and then we'll do the group process. So I'm just going to share my screen. And hopefully you can see my screen now. So Joy has 3 packages, A, B, and C. So yeah, there are 3 packages. So this is the From Fear to Freedom, Consciously Creating Your Life of Abundance, Health, and Happiness. And package A has 2 parts, right? So do you want to just share a little bit about the 2 parts?
Sure. So everything that goes through, like all the audios, I think there's about 6+ hours of audios here in the first part. And it's all about going deeply into fear and anxiety. So the lower chakras where we're, they're formed when we're children and such, going deep into that and then bringing you up into, like, the first one is feel healthy, energized, and vibrant. So we go through the fear, anxiety, just what we've been talking about, guilt, core beliefs in all of these. And then it's about bringing you up into that higher frequency. So the first couple are, about health, feeling healthy in, mind, body, soul, spirit, and such. And then wealth and abundance. So that's money, that's abundance in any area of your life. And then giving yourself permission to be happy, because we often think of, health and money before happiness, but happiness we create from that frequency. That's, the fifth dimensional frequency and higher. So you're creating from that. So, and often though, we're taught not to be happy, or it's bad to be happy, or so giving yourself permission to be happy. And you can create from that frequency and creating an uplifting story for your life. That's the next one. So, because we give all our experiences in life, we give meaning. And from that meaning, we create a story, we create an identity. So this is about creating an uplifting story and identity for yourself. So it's like reframing your story. And then we're looking at relationships, and then visualizing a little bit. We've done this a little bit today, is visualizing your path to freedom. So this is about visualizing your desires, your heart's desires, and living in the new earth. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Are you choosing it? And visualizing that and imagining that. And the more you can feel that from a heart-centered place, the more it, you're literally magnetized to it, and it's magnetized to you. And then connecting with emotional energy flows that support, a higher consciousness life. So everything's frequency. So this is about connecting with those higher emotional frequencies, being open to change and transformation, giving versus receiving. This is an interesting one, because we can read what it says there, where and so that one you might think of giving and receiving differently after you listen to this one. And then releasing being stuck, which is what this is all about. Part 2 is there's actually a lot to this program, and I chose the dates very specifically with intention, November 13th to December 15th, because in many parts of the world, so it's 33 days of remote healing, plus there's more than that, but in many parts of the world, that's over, holidays and celebrations and that. And I've had people over the years ask for extra support during this time. So that's why those dates are what they are. And so you get daily energy healing. It's remote energy healing. So it's group energy healing, minimum 30 minutes a day. Plus you get messages from spirit. You receive 2 of them right away, awakening to create a flow, and then creating your reality. And the messages from spirit are a little bit like what was channeled here. And it's going, sometimes we're just focusing on really uplifting, high consciousness, new earth frequencies. Sometimes we're going really into the depths of fear and anxiety and clearing that out, and then coming up, to the higher frequencies. They're 15 to 20 minutes each, and they're sent out twice a week during this program. And then there's also the 2 calls. They're about 2.5 hours each call. And there's 2 of those calls. So there's a lot to this program. That's package A. There's a whole lot to package A there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And then there's
go ahead. Yep.
Then there's package B, which includes everything in package A, plus a personalized remote freedom clearing MP3, which I have one that Joy did for me, and I still remember, like, I listened to it years later, and it's like it was still relevant, and it's still, I could feel the clearing happening. So it's not just a one-time shot. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper each time you do listen to it.
Absolutely.
But can you explain a little bit about the remote freedom clearings?
Yeah, it's just done from your picture. So if time is an issue or anything like that, it's just this is the one that you'd want. And so it's a recording that's sent to you because your picture holds your energy signature, the energy within you and your energy signature or aura. And we read that. It's like a reading. And we go in and you can send me up to three things that you'd like cleared. And we'll let my guides decide which one is your priority. And that will be cleared, activated, whatever you're looking for. It's about 25 to 30 minutes. We go deep very quickly in this. Like I've been working with people here one-on-one for maybe 5 minutes. Well, you're going to get 25, 30 minutes of that. And then that's sent to you. And like you said, years later, because you hear something you didn't hear before. And that's the ultimate inconvenience because you can listen to it any time. So and that's done remotely. I just do it by your picture and then send you the recording afterwards.
Yeah, and so that's 127. And then package C is everything in package A, plus instead of a 25-minute remote freedom clearing, you get a 45-minute personal session with Joy. So kind of like what we did today, but for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and that's so because some people, when we're going that deep into something and we've got 45 minutes, is memories will come up or traumas they might not even thought of. Because as you clear stuff out, other stuff comes up, it goes deeper and deeper. We can clear that in the moment. And this is really, really powerful. And well, all of it is. But yeah, combining that, like a phone session with package A and then the 33-day program, there's so much value. And yeah, so it's
Absolutely.
powerful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you do get a recording too. So the replay will be sent to the client.
Yeah. And
And
so
I just want to mention, this is a phone call. It's not a video call. It's a phone session.
yeah. And so this is package C for 147. And of course, I've had a personal session with Joy as well. And it was amazing what came through. And some of the stuff, it was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. And it was really, it went really deep. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to work with Joy. And of course, there's some wonderful testimonials from people who have worked with Joy, whether it's the personal session, whether it's the 33-day program, whether it's just the freedom clearing, whatever it happens to be. There's some wonderful testimonials from people here. So please do check those out. And of course, Joy's longer bio, more information is also here. So you can please read that as well, just to find out more about Joy. So again, these are the 3 packages. For each of them, a payment plan is available. And if you are an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code as well. Thank you, Joy. And I know it's going to be an amazing program. And even though the remote healing, the 33-day session doesn't start till November, all the other stuff like package A, you will get right away and you can start working with it and you can start, doing the healing. And of course, the freedom clearing, you can book right away as well as the personal session.
And you've got that support during, the holiday season, if you're in a part of the world that celebrates during that time. And even if, yes, it's much earlier now, but that's, like I said, I've had a lot of people ask for support during that time period. And that's why I chose those dates.
Yeah. Oh, and it's also a very special, like a high energy time as well, because like you said, there's lots of like Christmas, Hanukkah and all that stuff, but there's usually a lot more stuff happening at that time. So it's really, it can be high vibe as well as stressful at the same time. So it depends on where you're at and what your focus is, but it's a special time for sure. Okay, hold on. Let me see where I am. All right. So now we are going to do a quick process. I don't know what's going to come through now. This is already so much stuff has already been coming through during this call.
Okay, so everybody just take a deep breath in, and there's resistance. And the resistance is, like you said, it's been a deep call already. I don't want to go any deeper. And okay, we'll let's honor and acknowledge that resistance. And resistance, we're just going to ask you to step aside for now, go take a holiday, a bit of a break. There you go. And just let yourself, your entire self relax. And okay, a little bit of anger coming up, and that's okay. Let's just acknowledge that anger. There you go. There's your sacral chakra has released. Sacral, so that's connection and relationships and creativity, and that's what's coming up now. And okay, any ways in which you're afraid of being any more creative than you already are, whether it's even like in ideas or thinking about it or taking action, because you're afraid that your life will open up even more. It will. So let's just acknowledge that. As you become more creative, your life just does open up. And now let's imagine just how amazing your life could become with your health, having fun, laughing, uplifting, inspiring conversations and connections with others, being in the flow of abundance, being in the flow of money, receiving money easily and effortlessly, traveling, having fun, spending more time with your friends, your family, kids, grandkids, whoever you choose. There you go. Just imagine that's possible. Okay, a little bit of anger coming up. Just acknowledge anger. You don't make it bad. Don't make yourself bad. Just acknowledge that anger, because anger up until now has been serving a purpose, and that's up until now it's believed that it's kept you safe. So, but remember, that's a childhood coping strategy. It's not good or bad. It just is. There you go. Your whole self relaxed. Your emotions are not bad. That was what you learned as a child. Those are coping strategies. They kept you safe up until now. But now you're looking to live life from a higher consciousness, higher emotional frequencies. You desire to laugh more, to have fun, to have more uplifting, inspiring connections, conversations. So that when you have a connection and a conversation with somebody, you walk away feeling inspired. You're like, oh, I never thought of that before. Yeah, that feels good. Or maybe I could try that. Yes, you're okay. Any part of you that says you're not allowed to feel that good, or you're not allowed to think in creative ways or uplifting, inspiring ways. Remember, these are all childhood coping strategies and things you were taught. But it's not divine truth. Again, it's not good or bad or right or wrong. It just is. It's kept you safe up until now. There you go. Your whole self relax. There's some happiness. There you go. And that's that child within you feels so happy and uplifted. The reason they feel happy and uplifted is because you have been given permission to dream, to feel good about yourself, and to feel all your emotions and not judge them. They just are. Simply acknowledge them and set them free. Set your emotions free in any density to live in alignment with its highest and greatest good, and set yourself free to live in alignment with your highest and greatest good. There you go, your whole self relaxed. Just imagine that. Imagine living your most amazing, beautiful, inspiring, uplifting, abundant, joyful life ever. Just give yourself a moment and imagine that. It is possible. It's possible because you have allowed yourself to imagine that in the energetic space. Now it's just a matter of time until it happens in the physical space. The more you imagine it and you allow it, the more quickly it will happen. There you go. So shokabasawalaka. Awalasa, Soshokabasawalaka Babaka. Just put your attention on your heart and notice how your heart and your heart space feels relaxed and at ease. And we're going to ask your mind to acknowledge your heart and your heart space. There you go, your whole self relaxed. There's some happiness. Yes, give yourself permission to feel happy. You're allowed to feel happy. So shokabasawa laka, babaka, so shokabasawa laka, wala so shoko, tokabase, wala so shokabasawa laka, babaka, so shokabasawa laka, tukabase, wala so shokabasawa laka. Take a deep breath in. Let that go. There you go, my friend. Namaste. You look like you're waking up from a deep nap there, Shefali.
Exactly, exactly. I was yawning, and it felt like I was like gone somewhere because I don't even know half of what you said. So thank
That's
you.
okay. That's good.
Um, how's everyone doing? How was that for you? Good. Everyone's feeling good. Like I said, I have no idea what Joy said during this whole process. I'm like totally clueless. So I'm assuming it was all great. I usually am a little bit aware, but that was not. But all I know is lots of yawning and just relaxing at the same time.
Awesome.
Lots of
Good.
yawning, Tina says. Good. That was amazing. And this call was wonderful. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. That felt amazing. And my stomach released its tightness. Oh, good. Chris says burping. Catherine says felt my heart doing flip flops and some burning in my throat.
Okay.
That's okay.
Just want to say one more thing. If you feel stuck in actually any chakra, any part of your body, I say your throat chakra, just put your hands behind your head, behind your neck, and then just pull them forward, like right through you, and then just flick it off. So you're releasing that energy. And do that a few times, like mid-back. If you're feeling conflict within you, the solar plexus, just put your hands behind your mid-back, take them right all the way to the front and flick it off. And you release that, you can get the energy moving.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Tanya says she was also somewhere else. Sandra says, amazing
Okay.
call. Thank you. Aranima says she got sleepy. So I wasn't the only one. Um, Cindy says, this has been so calming and grounding. Thank you. Felt so much serenity. Awesome. The lighting on your forehead is golden today, is it? I can't tell. But there is a lot more light on my forehead. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, the throat chakra. Yeah, so just do what Joy just said. Good. Uplifted, hopeful. Oh, good. That's important too. Awesome. Thank you. Yay. Wonderful. Yeah, that was amazing. Lots of wisdom, obviously, lots of processing on this call. Uh two group processes, but processing with each of the questions as well. So a lot going on. So please, 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 everyone drink some water, walk around. If you can get just, a few minutes of outside, getting some sun, that's always helpful too. And of course, if you'd like to work with Joy, please do. Package A is all like remote and audios, and package B is with the freedom clearing plus package A, and package C is the 45-minute personal session with Joy plus package A. So there's a lot of healing and clearing and processing possible in these packages. It's amazing. So please do check out those packages as well. My goodness. Thank you, Joy. Any last words of wisdom? I know there's we did so much already, but anything else you want to add, or the guides want to add?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show again. Thank you to all your listeners for, amazing consciousness, great questions, and the courage to move forward. And final words would be very simple. Just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and believe in possibilities.
I love that. Believe in yourself, believe in possibilities, believe in your dreams. What if it is possible? Right?
Exactly. What if it is possible?
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful. Thank you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been so awesome, so amazing, so it brought up so much stuff, right? Like we talked about that fear, but it's also brought us to calm and peace, and giving us a better understanding of fear and what to do when that fear shows up, right? And how we can move into that creative flow, into creating our best life, right? And yes, you're talking about happiness, right? But yes, like this show is called Awaken to Happiness Now, and we all have that right and that privilege to awaken to happiness now, right now, tomorrow, every day. So why not? What if it is possible for all of us to be happy in every moment? So thank you so much. Thank you, Joy. This is brilliant. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for all your questions and being vulnerable and sharing and being willing to release and heal and clear and transform. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's deep, deep work. So thank you. I will have the recordings out shortly. Please go back and watch or listen again. Do the processes again for sure, and just allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to release, and allow yourself to receive that peace and joy and happiness that we all deserve. Right? So thank you so much, everyone. Until
Thank
next
you.
time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next week. So thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.